What's going on, people? So, the PlayStation 5. We finally know what it looks like. And the Xbox Series X, Microsoft has continued their transparent marketing. I think we're in a really interesting spot right now, where we know what both these consoles look like. We've seen games running on these consoles. And while we have a general idea of where these companies want to take their products, at the same time, we don't know some of the most important aspects about them. One of which, arguably the most important, that being the price. It wasn't until I looked at the calendar today and I noticed that we are coming up on the end of June. June is winding down, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to enter July. Shout out to my July babies out there. We the best. And neither one of these mofos wants to give a solid price to the console. Nope, not at all. It's like every single day that goes by and every single interview that they do where they answer every question under the sun, except that one. They be dodging that shit like they're getting the fuck out of Dodge. I get even more anxious, like more so than usual. You know what the best way I could describe these guys and their back and forth? It's like that scene in the movie Sorry to Bother You. You know how they're just like, no, I'm just trying to get like you. No, man, I'm trying to get like you. I'm trying to get on your level. You know how black people get. You know what I'm saying? We one up each other, but at the same time, it's all love. These guys are going back and forth like, hey, man, I'm going to let you go ahead and announce the price. No, by all means. I want you to do it. No, please. I insist. You're the one who did over 100 million consoles this year. Well, hey, man, listen, you got some really cool stuff, too. You announced your console first, so I think you should announce the price first. They be doing that shit. They be thinking it's fun. And here I am sweating more than usual than I do these videos. It's just not a good look at all, man. It really isn't. But at the same time, it's fun, and I think we should talk about it. So let's just talk about the way in which Sony and Microsoft have been discussing their consoles and comparing and contrasting how they used to do it versus how they're doing it now. So when we're talking about how they used to do it, it's really interesting because going back to 2013, by this point in the year, we had already seen them talk all about the consoles. You know, we had E3, they unveiled the pricing. You knew by that point whether or not you were getting a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. Even before Microsoft went ahead and did a 180 on the DRM, you knew that the PS4 was $400 and the Xbox One was $500. People made up their minds then and there. Now, it's just done so differently, and I've noticed it's such a paradigm shift in the tech industry as a whole. Take the Nintendo Switch, right? We knew about the Switch. We knew a Nintendo console successor was coming like damn near 2 years before it was out. But we didn't see the Switch officially until the end of 2016. We learned the price a few weeks later, and then the console was out a few weeks later. So from the announcement to launch and the price, everything all together was less than 5 months. Looking at this generation, right? Sony and Microsoft, the way they've been going about marketing things, couldn't be completely different. Microsoft has been very transparent from the beginning. They announced the next generation of consoles a full year and a half in advance. They showed off the system a whole year in advance. And we've seen so many deep dives into the breakdown of the hardware, why they went with certain components, what this is going to do, the benefits you're going to get from it, and even the operating system, how Quick Resume is going to, I don't want to say revolutionize things, but it's going to make the console, the quality of life is just going to go through the roof. Being able to swap from game to game to game to game and resuming them all under 5 seconds. That stuff is insanely cool. PlayStation, on the other hand, has been admittedly, what's the best way I could say, low-key. You can literally count the amount of times they've talked about the PS5 on like one hand. I think that's literally, it's because it's PS5. They'll talk about it only 5 times before the console comes out. But at the same time, hey, man, that low-key marketing's working for them. They come on here on a random Tuesday. Hey, man, here's the PS5 logo. That shit breaks Instagram records. Oh, here's the PS5 controller. That shit just like people have never seen a photo before. It's like caveman seeing fire. And hey, I gotta give them credit for it. Because when the PS5 design came out, you had so many people who weren't even into gaming like that making memes. It's really crazy. But I bring all this up to mention the fact that I think Sony and Microsoft, the reason why neither of them have announced the console price, you could chalk it up to the fact that, well, they probably would have if they had more events where people could demo it, and, with the worldwide situation, they couldn't. I think the reason why they're doing it is because they know the price of the console, right? Obviously. but they want to give you even more incentive so that when you finally see the price, it won't be as bad as if you saw a couple of games, then saw the price. Because if I'm being honest with y'all, how many times have you seen a game console and they've shown off some games, admittedly not all of them are going to be up your alley, and then you see the price of the console and you literally went from, oh, that sounds amazing, I think I'm going to pick that up, or, oh, I'm going to wait for a slim model. Because that's happened on more than one occasion. Whereas now, I think the reason why they're holding so many events, like, we've had a couple so far. We have the July showcase for Microsoft, and then Sony's rumored to be doing another one later on in the year. I think they're just trying to build a lot more value in these consoles to the point where by the time you see the price, you'll know that, oh, the system's coming out in a couple weeks. I've been saving all this money anyway. So, hey, what's an extra $100? Something like that. Or maybe you might even save some money because you already saved up enough in anticipation. That's my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory of the day. But at the same time, I think it makes a lot of sense because if you look at all other industries related to tech, though, their marketing is just very blitz. They announce a product, they hold an event for a product, you get all the information in there. Boom, here's the price. It's out in like less than 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Whereas here, they're talking about their systems, but the most important aspect to the price, it's still months away. Even though we're less than 5 months away, it's still a long enough time for a lot of people to be on the fence about things. I don't know. I just feel like they're kind of appealing. They're trying to appeal to that trait, but who knows? I just might be thinking some crazy stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. That being said, the price for these consoles, the rumors are all over the place. Anywhere from $399, $499, $549, $600. And then when you start factoring in the higher storage capacities and things like that, it gets all out of control. And then if they offer other storage, as a secondary purchase instead, so you don't inflate the price of the console, it gets really crazy. So I don't want to sit here and really speculate on what the consoles will be. Whether they're $399, is that going to be beneficial to the company? Whether they're $599, is that going to be beneficial to the company? I don't work for these companies. I don't sit on the board of directors. I ain't making any money off of them. So I don't care what price they price it at and if that's okay or not okay for them. They're going to do what they're going to do. But I think it's very interesting, though, when you get into the topic of price, because I've noticed a lot of people are very bullish on the price for these game consoles, right? If we're talking about the hardcore enthusiasts, which if you're watching this YouTube channel, you have some type of interest in the gaming industry. For some people, whether or not the price fits in their favor will make or break if they adopt into the ecosystem for years. And I find it very interesting because some of those people are the same folks who would go out there and spend $1,000 on an iPhone or the latest Samsung Galaxy. I'm not saying everybody, you know what I'm saying? But it's the exact same situation, Whereas a game console, the longer you have it, it really doesn't depreciate as much as those phones do. When you have an iPhone, it's out of date within a year and a half. You have maybe 2 years before Apple starts rolling out those what updates. Whereas a game console, the longer you have it, the more opportunities you have to get great gaming experiences done. You're already going to be playing your favorite games that you normally would play now. But then as the years progress and the games mature, coming out with experiences like God of War and Spider-Man and those type of games, it makes it beneficial to have that system long term as opposed to waiting. But then again, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are just some people who are like, no, I don't care about the price for these consoles. I don't care if they're $400 or I don't care if they're $600. I'm going to be getting a lot of fun out of them anyway, so I'm good with that. So I've seen a lot of people in both camps. They want this to be $399, and other people say, I don't care what price it is. And then you get into the conspiracy argument where, oh, see, now you're going to make it like Apple. See, Apple, they know that people don't care about the price, so they'll just release it like crazy. Where do I stand in all this? If I'm being real with y'all, whether these consoles are $399 or $499, heck, even $550, personally, I don't necessarily mind it because these are consoles that I'm going to be owning for many, many years. I don't really trade in my systems. And I'm going to be getting a lot of great experiences out of them. So I am not personally bullish on whether or not I'm spending $3.99 or $4.99. Because once you start getting into a certain price point, guys, and then you start adding tax, it's just like a blur. It's like, just swipe the card, go ahead. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like when I built my new PC right here. Once it got to a certain point, I was just like, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a deal, but then you just realize, yeah, $50 ain't gonna hurt. Put that protection plan on there. Oh God. So I don't personally mind it, but I can understand both sides of the spectrum, people who do mind it and those who don't. But I will say this, though. It would be very interesting if the rumored Xbox Lockhart, Xbox Series X as it's dubbed, if that comes up, and it's what we assume it is going to be. It's going to be a next generation console that targets, higher than 1080p gaming, 1440p gaming at higher frame rates, things like that, but not necessarily like 4K maxed out settings like the newer systems are going to. It's going to be interesting if them releasing that console at maybe $299 or $250 in that particular ballpark, but it can still run all the same games, and then you add in the Xbox Smart Delivery and how it can scale games for the best console that is called Xbox. I think that's going to be very intriguing, because I think something that we forget as gamers, while, we watch this show and we're enthusiasts and we like all this stuff, a lot of people, I go so far as to say the vast majority of people don't do this. They really don't. They'll maybe get on the internet to learn the price and see highlights reel of games, but when they buy these consoles, they get Call of Duty, they get FIFA, they get Fortnite, they get those type of games, and there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, some of the closest people in my life are those kind of people. So for them, maybe price is a more important factor. For them, maybe they're okay with their PS4 right now and they don't want to get the PS5 immediately. But if they go into that Walmart and they're already buying their groceries and they see that console right there and it's looking pretty attractive, like, ooh, well, man, it's been 7 years since I bought a PlayStation console. How much was it? $400 then? It's $400 now? Yeah, I'll go ahead and buy it. For some people, that's a very much so an impulse purchase, and they don't mind it because they get 7 years of enjoyment out of it. So maybe price is what they really want to target. So it'd be interesting if both console manufacturers come out at $399 and then Xbox has that $299 SKU. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they're both $499, because just the way they're talking about these systems and how they're talking about just the value of them as opposed to just the convenience aspect, it doesn't bode well. However, let's remember, consoles are not PCs. PCs, I know this is going to piss off all the PC Master Race people, PCs do not appreciate as time goes on. The more graphically intensive games come out, if your PC can't handle it, you've got to upgrade the hardware. Consoles, that $500 is going to go a long way. That $500 that you spent on a base PS4, you're still able to play games 7-8 years down the road. So however long they release those games. PC, yeah, you'll be able to play those games. They ain't going to be running at the same settings, though. What you were bragging about in 2017, top of the line, ooh, no. No, in 2021. No. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. I mean, we can't fault it for it. PC gaming is amazing. It has all its benefits, but if you ain't keeping up to date with it, you aren't going to be getting the same settings of a $500 console, which that's kind of the reason why they're $500 consoles. They're developing with those in mind, as opposed to PC where, yeah, you pay a bit more, you get a lot more, but as time goes on, if you don't keep up with it, you're just going to have to keep bringing down the settings. And I already know that everyone's going to come in the comment section saying stuff like, it is what it is. Consoles have their place and PCs have their place. They can exist simultaneously. And it's not that big a deal if you game on one or the other. Anyways, that's all I really want to talk about when it comes to the price of these systems. I know it's kind of a much to do about nothing video. I really didn't reveal any industry insight or information like all these channels do, because we don't know anything about these prices. So all we can do is sit here and speculate. So why not talk about speculating and how people speculate about crazy things, yet they think it's real, and then it doesn't end up being real at all. Anyways, for me for now, my name is NGS signing out, and like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.